Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is wonderful and well. And I was just saying, I think to Jan on my previous show, if you've been watching the show the last few days, I've been wearing the same jacket. But it's certainly the warmest one I have. And it'll be worn because it's flippin' cold here at the moment. My word. Winter's hit us with a vengeance. But anyway, time for us to share our sun so you guys may enjoy it for just a teeny tiny little while.
Oh,
And it's Marvelous Monday. And hello, Morné. Hello, Bryce.
hello.
And
Hello.
what is it? Marvelous, magical, mythical,
That's the
mysterious,
one.
mystery. All of the one day, all of the lovely things for a Monday. So, Bryce, how are you?
I'm good. I gotta say, today is my niece's second birthday. So I want to say happy
Yay.
birthday to my adorable, sassy niece. She's the chubbiest little thing in the world, and I just love her to death. And so happy birthday, May. And also happy Memorial Day. Today's a holiday here in the United States. And so we know that with the military, there's some shady stuff, shenanigans going on. But I do believe that most of the people who sign up to join the military in any country, you're doing it for the right reasons. You literally, that's a very selfless thing to do, to want to serve and protect your people,
Yeah.
for us, our Constitution. So happy Memorial Day to all of the veterans out there who wanted to give their life to protect our freedom. So thank you to all those veterans out there. Not to
Indeed.
the
I
higher ups,
actually,
though. Not to the higher ups that are doing these shenanigans. You don't get a thank you.
well, definitely. And I wanted to actually say, because somebody did tell me a few days ago that today is Memorial Day. And I did actually want to say to all the vets out there, um, wow, I think it must be such a crazy. I'm just trying to, for a moment, put myself into that situation. And for a moment, I felt myself in that situation. So I think really, Happy Memorial Day is all I can say. And we honor each and every one of you for what you've done. I mean, I know not just America, which is your Memorial Day, but what's happened in our country as well with our military guys. And, how they so selflessly give to protect. And despite whoever might be up there in the higher ups and pushing some very nasty buttons, I do believe that time is going to be revealed. And so, yeah, to all of you there, thank you for everything that you guys do. It's amazing.
Yeah, everybody all over the
Beautiful.
planet, all over the world,
Mm,
we thank you because we know just you went in with integrity. Just because your leaders didn't come in with integrity, you did, and we
yeah,
recognize that. And so, thank you.
absolutely. 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 And on that note, we are with Emerald Tablet 7, the
Yes.
Seven Lords, Part 3. And I promised you the last time, oh, you see there? There we go.
Load
It's load
shedding.
shedding. Woo!
South Africa.
It's because we said poo poo to the higher ups, and they're like, "We'll just turn your lights off."
Well, I don't really care because I have enough light in me
Yeah,
to light
right.
up the planet. I have decided.
That is
So
hysterical.
there we go.
You
I
can't
just want to
make this
plug
up, can
myself
you?
in. I have to just relocate my light switch quickly. But yeah, anyway. So, yes, I said I will be making sure we stay on track today. Grandma in the studio. Grandma will make sure we stay on, and that includes me. That's note to self.
Listen, we got two Aquarians and an Aries. Two Aquarians and
Listen,
an Aries.
yeah, exactly.
We're
Exactly.
listen, my
Exactly.
friend Angie says, "Don't threaten me with a good time." Very good time.
It'll be a good time.
Very good time. Two Aquarians and an Aries. If we were
Yeah.
literally together, we would be getting into some shenanigans. So don't threaten us with a good time. We always have a good time.
I'll always opt for that good time. I'm going to tell you. I'll always opt for the good time.
Same, same. Same. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'll say for everybody watching right now, again, if if you've missed the first couple of introductions, go back and rewatch it so we don't have to backtrack. But literally just what we're talking about in Emerald 7 is the 7 lords, which are the chakras, where these energies come from. We're really from tablet 6 into tablet 7 getting into the war between good and evil, light and darkness, the polarity, not just in the macro but in the micro itself, and so that's where we kind of are. And I find this stuff to be so fascinating, and it's so telling of kind of the truth of what's happening in our timeline right now, because we can see it. We can see it. And right now the darkness is really exposing itself. And I know Mr. Fox is coming back this week with you guys, and he can talk more about that as well. And this is why a lot of infiltrators really don't want us reading the Emerald Tablets, because it's kind of given their story away, right? It's kind of given their, it's kind of a whoopsie, like we see their battle plans. And so, but on top of that, it's really what I love about Thoth so much is that through every tablet, even though he's coming at us as a teacher, he's just a teacher, right? He keeps saying, this is on you. Like, you got to do this. And I tell people all the time, that might sound scary, but literally that's your privilege. You are so privileged and so powerful that no one can save you, because you are the hero. Yeah. You're it.
Exactly.
So own that. And that's kind of what we're going through now. So we're.
And I really think, just on that note, and I always say this, it's like really at the end of the day, it is your higher power, it is your higher self, but I think most people can't actually quite contemplate that they are that incredible, that I am that amazing, that I am this incredible angel or spirit or whatever it is. It's really just a higher aspect of yourself. But I think that comes in time, when we realize more and more who we are and what we're about and how amazing we actually are as human beings, then we start to realize these things.
And so that's what Thoth is saying. Like, he's your teacher, but he's literally like, in a lot of this, I see him kind of venerating us. Like, you are the souls who are strong enough to do this. It takes us back to the very first tablet on the first verse, where he says, these are being written for a generation to come, and that's us. And he's taken this much time to get this written down, because we are the generation that's going to defeat this. And so, understand that I see this as him massively showing respect to all the souls watching right now. Like, that's, you and Thoth are of equal value in this. And he says many times that, I'm not especially the first couple of tablets, I'm not a deity. I'm not a god. I'm a son of Atlantis. And you are sons and daughters of Atlantis as well. You just don't remember. But we're going to try to get you to remember, because it's all you, boo. You are the person who was picked to come. And maybe Mr. Fox can talk more about this, but when this timeline came about, source, creator, God, whatever you want to call the higher consciousness of good, was very selective as to who was going to be put on the earth at this time, because he needed souls that could do it, that knew they could, even though we went through the veil of amnesia, right? And so I want everybody watching that to feel that empowerment, that you are here for a reason. You have the strength to do this. So we're going to be starting today on the 6th verse. That's where we left off last week. He says, in all space, there is only one wisdom. Though seeming divided, it is the one in the one. All that exists come from the light, and the light comes forth from all. And so we see this idea of this oneness. And so he's saying this one wisdom also, the darkness distorts this wisdom, but it's the same thing we say all the time. Darkness can't create, only the light can create, right? The darkness can just steal and invert it. So when you look at that 6th verse, in my opinion, as someone who's been working on myself for 17 years now, I understand that even in darkness, it is an inversion of the one wisdom. And so if you can learn to see, like, that's what I love about the Hindu faith, is that they have demons in the Hindu faith, but they say their demonstrators are teachers. Your demons are your teachers. Your darkness is your teacher. And so there's from there. And if you can see that, if you can not be afraid of the darkness, but see it for what it is, for the wisdom it provides, you take its power away, right? All of a sudden it's not powerful anymore, because you are able to understand it. And so that's super important.
And face it,
face it, absolutely.
Because it's like, really, when we start facing our demons, so to speak, Literally, I mean, how often do we hear that word or that term, got to face your demons? And when you literally do that spiritually, as part of your interior work, so to speak, when you start looking at, because really what your demons or your monsters are your fears, right?
Yeah.
So when you start looking at your fears one by one, and you literally meet them eye to eye, heart to heart. Okay, well, with your heart anyway, you'll feel it. And then you can really see it's an aspect of you. It's always an aspect of you looking back at you. I'll tell you that much now. And when you see that really it's you in pain, then the only thing you want to do to yourself is comfort yourself. And then that's how we heal.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the wisdom. So that's, and you see it a lot, like we see, and of course, Magdalene in Magdalene's gospel talks about the wisdom of the wrathful person. And she's not saying, she's very clear, like we don't want to act be a vigilante. Like we don't want to go out there with pitchforks, but there's wisdom where something strikes anger. If you can sit with that and ask it what the anger wants, really there's a wisdom there that can help you course correct in a calm and peaceful way. And we see that a lot, even in our community. Of course, we're pissed and we're angry about what this other group, these brothers of darkness, have done to humanity. Of course, we're pissed. But if we react in anger and in violence, then we're just projecting that same darkness they have. But if we can take it, digest it, learn, help transmute it, as Shanti says, then there's a wisdom there, and that heals it, and that removes the problem. So I hope that makes sense. After, if I had read that verse before ever embarking on my own journey, I probably would have not understood it. But after 17 years of doing this, I'm like, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. It all comes back to the one source of wisdom. He goes on to say everything created is based upon order. Law rules the space where the infinite dwells. And we saw the laws in that never-ending tablet 3. He went through all the laws, right? Of like attracts like. It's all the stuff we talk about. Forth from equilibrium came the great cycles, moving in harmony and towards infinity's end. Know ye, O man, that far in the space-time, infinity itself shall pass into change. Hear ye and list to the voice of wisdom. Know that all is of all evermore. Know that through time thou may pursue wisdom and find ever more light on the way. Aye, thou shalt find that ever receding thy goals shall elude thee from day to day. So he's talking about, as the last tablet, the obstacles you face on this path. It's like, in the Christian faith, we talk about the 10 Commandments, like don't have an affair, don't steal, don't do, these are all sins, right? And my perspective on this is that when people like screw up in their lives and they do something stupid, but they learn from it, it wasn't done in vain, right? There's a wisdom that is gained from the hiccups. There's a wisdom that is gained from messing up. Most of the wisest people I know have had a pretty scandalous past, but they learn.
Well, everyone, I mean, it's how we learn. It's through our mistakes. The question is, do we learn? Do we keep repeating and get stuck there and get caught deeper and deeper? Because that's very common as well.
Yeah.
How many times do you catch yourself in the same freaking situation as what you were a year ago, whatever the case might be, right? And you go, oh, I thought I was over that. But, and then it's really going back and looking at where I've tripped myself up, because that's really what it's about.
And we said this is kind of echoes what we've said about like the controllers, the bad guys in this. The only way to eradicate this type of behavior is if we learn to go inward and heal ourselves vibrationally, right? And we keep making the mistake of trying to go outward, to try to do this, to try to do that, but it just keeps perpetuating this domino effect. Yes, they should be charged. Yes, they need to serve their karma out. The justice system needs to work. But as far as like the overall, we have to fix us in order for the macro not to, because the macro is always a mirror, right? It's always a mirror of the micro. And so the macro is showing us what's happening in the micro. Once we collectively heal the micro, the macro has to also reflect that. And there's wisdom in that. And, you know, it's one of my favorite sayings, the more my heart breaks, the more the light can shine through, right? The more that I hurt myself and hurt others, the more I learn empathy and compassion and learn to like reel it back. It's again, that as Magdalene says, the wisdom of the wrathful person, the wisdom of being able to be into a dark place and instead of reacting to that darkness, observing it and learning from it and working through it. And he's telling you here, it's a long road. It's a road that you're going to keep going. You're going to make pitfalls. There's going to be mistakes made, and that's okay. It's all part of it. It is all part of it. Long time ago in the halls of Amenti, I thought stood before the lords of the cycles. Mighty they in their aspects of power, mighty they in their wisdom unveiled. So who are the lords again? The lords of the cycles. These again are the chakra systems. So again, we talked about this last week. We're going to be talking about the chakras, but what I find so fascinating about this tablet is he brings the chakras and he shows that there is an entity, an energetic understanding, a consciousness, a collective chakra consciousness that weaves through all of us. Even though your chakras are personal to you, there is a consciousness there that is there to help you and teach you. So he's telling you, I'm standing before these lords of cycles, these lords of these energy points that are within you to hear their wisdom. All right.
Absolutely.
So led by the dweller, first did I see them, but afterwards free was I of their presence, free to enter their conclave at will. Oft did I journey down the dark pathway unto the hall where the light ever glows. That's interesting, the dark pathway to find the light. Going through thought. There's a comment that Doriel's going to make in his commentary when we go through it, where he says, I'm paraphrasing what he says. He says that somebody gave Thoth the key, like, here is what you got to do to heal yourself. And Thoth took it and like did it. And like, not many people will do that, right? Not many people. You say, hey, listen, this is what you got to do to heal yourself. And so many people are like, no, you know, someone's going to come save me. Never mind. But Thoth actually took it and said, okay, you're telling me this is how I have to heal myself. I have to go through the darkness. I have to go through my own darkness. Cool. That's what I'll do. So I thought it was comical. We'll get to it when we go through Doriel's commentary about that. I thought it was really comical the way he wrote that. Like Thoth actually said, okay, let's try this. Let's just try this. Learned I of the masters of cycles, wisdom brought from the cycles above us, knowledge brought from infinity's all. Many the questions I asked of the lords of cycles. Great was the wisdom they gave unto me. Now unto thee I give of this wisdom, drawn from the flame of infinity's fire. How cool would it be if we just sat in meditation and said, hey, Muladhara, what wisdom do you want to give me? Can I be a student of you, Muladhara, the root chakra? What lessons are you trying to teach me? So that's what he's doing. He's facing his own chakras, his own shit, basically. Deep in the dark halls sit the 7 units of consciousness from cycles above. Manifest they in this cycle as guides of man to the knowledge of all. Let me read that again for those in the back who did not hear. Manifest they in this cycle as guides of man to the knowledge of all. They are your guides. Your chakra system are your guides. 7 are they, mighty in power, speaking these words through me to men. Time after time stood I before them, listening to words that came not with sound. Listening to words that came not with sound, the intuitive knowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Intuitive knowing of what they're trying to do. Yeah, when you sit in meditation, you go, okay, Muladhara, okay, Manipura, what you got for me? They're not going to literally be like, well, listen, little tyke, this is no, it's going to be a subtle knowing of not sound. Once
you know what's really good, you know what I want to just say there, which really, really works as well. Often what we tend to do when we're facing ourselves or when we're doing inner work or something like that, we always go, okay, well, my heart's not well, or my back's sore, or my knee's sore, or whatever it is. We will face the things that are the problem, and we face them as the problem. So the more we're facing things as the problem, we're going to become and receive more of the problem. I want to just point this out. This is the difference, is what I always like to say, of someone, generally speaking, okay, who goes to gym to look at themselves in the reflection and what they look like, because they don't like the way they actually look. So they're trying to force to build, right? Yoga, on the other hand, for example, and I'm sure the other dancing is for sure, for me, is the same as well, right? So where you actually doing the action because you love it and you love yourself. You love the way yoga makes you feel. You don't do it because you're going to get a tight ass. Okay, that's a byproduct. But you're doing it because you like the way it makes you feel. The breathing, the stretching when you're in your shavasana, right? So there's a very important difference in between asserting and just attracting, where you're in that place of just being. And then what's a very good thing is what I always say is invite. Like, think about your home. When someone comes barging at my door and banging down and saying, hey, what's wrong in here? I'm going to get my back up. You're going to get resistance from me, right? But if someone is there and I can see them and, wow, they got something interesting they're carrying, I'll say, oh, come into my home. Let's see what this is. It's the same kind of energy. You invite the instruction. That's why anyone who does honestly, I'll tell you something now. People are forever trying to do psychic readings on me, and I can feel it immediately. Now, anyone who wants to do that with me without my permission, what I do is I know how to create a diversion, not a diversion, but like a reflector, if you will. And I'm going to give you I'll give you whatever I think I want to give you. Some of it's going to be good. Most of it's going to be probably your own stuff reflecting back at you. That's what I'm saying. So when you force something, when you try and impose something on someone without their permission or against their will, right, you're going to get resistance. And I think that's why the whole Luciferian system, you've got to consent, right? You've got to consent to having a demon take over your body, even in that area. So invite the energy in. Invite Muladhara in and sit down and have a cup of tea and say, okay, Muladhara, it's you and me, baby. What are we chat about tonight? Hang, what about this as a kid? Oh, gosh, remember it got so sore. What happened then? I want to know what happened then when I cracked my coccyx. Tell me what was actually happening.
I've done that before. I broke my coccyx bone before, and I literally said, okay, universe, broke my ass for a reason. Like,
I was pregnant with mine cracked.
Oh, no. You had it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
I was just in my 30s.
Yeah. So is that all? Think energy, guys. Think energy.
Well, I always tell people it's an investigation. Every time I'm on my yoga mat, it's like I'm investigating. Like, you know, and I love it with the bar too, because the bar has a lot of the tucks and the pelvic movements that you're feeling the femur bone and the hip actually moving in a particular way that's giving you and feeding you information. And so it's an interesting, like Ram Dass used to always say, oh, interesting. Like there's what is that? That's interesting. Why did I react that way to that movement? Let me investigate this. So yeah, it is. Yeah. It's getting to know yourself. It's getting to understand yourself.
Getting deeper, yeah.
I absolutely agree with that 100%. And this is why we see in like ancient cultures, like the Egyptian mystery schools or yoga, that there was always some sort of physical movement with their spiritual practice, because we have these 7 lords. We have these chakra systems that are there, as Thoth says, to give you wisdom. They are mighty they in their aspects of power, mighty they in the wisdom unveiled. And only you can unveil that wisdom within your own chakra system. And so part of that is being able to get in your body, not to punish your body, like got to get by zero, but to actually move the body and be like, oh, interesting. What is that? You know, it's what animals do. Animals do this instinctively. They instinctively do this, right? It's like when dogs.
Well, that's what a lot of the ancient yogis were doing, actually, when they were living out in the bushes in the pre-yogic times, if you will. They were watching, because remember, like a lot of the moves, or probably most of them, unless there's modern ones that I don't know about, are created on nature and sacred geometry. Yeah. Like a lot of the postures have got animal names, right? They watched, for example, a buck when it was running, or a buck suddenly prick up its ears and notice it activates its third eye at the same time. So all its senses are activating at the same time. So how can humans learn from that? So the whole art of yoga, and it is an art, is about learning from nature and animals. And
that's the samastitihi, the counting out of the ekam inhale. You're moving out almost like a grid, like an architect would do, like a 90-degree angle where you're moving out from the samastiti point. Exactly. You're mimicking animals, shapes. You know, Utthita Trikonasana, it's the shape of the pyramid, you know, so it's in your body, it's that unleashing. And so, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I tell people a lot, like, especially if you're watching right now and you're new to all this, don't be overwhelmed. I know it can seem overwhelming, but the three of us have been doing this for a long time. Go take a 20-minute YouTube yoga. Like, just go do something and just go walk for 20 minutes and see if you can investigate what sensations are coming up in your body.
Dance. It's all about becoming comfortable inside your skin. I mean, with stress and everything gets stuck in our bodies. We get pains and stuff. So by moving your body with your meditation practice, it's about moving into yourself again, inside and out. But It's all about becoming comfortable. Yeah, move.
Dance is amazing. That's why little kids, like you see little kids, when they throw temper tantrums, right? When they just have to like shake, and then they all of a sudden they're fine again, right? It's like when dogs get the zoomies, you know, they just got to zoom it out for a minute. Like they know to do that. Spread your toes out. See if you can feel what you put. And if you don't get the answers right away, just come back tomorrow. Come back the next day. Over time, you will start to recognize these subtle responses. So I don't want anybody feeling overwhelmed. It literally just starts with you moving your body. Don't have any expectation. Just go and just move the body. Enjoy, love your body. Your body is so beautiful, and so, I mean, I'm guilty of it, of abusing my body too, and it's still here to serve me, right? So anyway, so he's now talking. So if you have the same as me, you'll see when he's having like an internal dialogue, they put it in a deeper font. So he says, well, let me actually start again with the verse ahead of that. He says, deep in the dark halls, I sit the seven, deep in the dark halls of the psyche, sit the 7 units of consciousness from cycles above. Manifest they in this cycle as guides of man to the knowledge of all. 7 are they, mighty in power, speaking these words through me to men. Time after time I stood before them, listening to words that came not with sound. Once they said to me, O man, whilst thou gain wisdom. So he's telling you this is his intuition, because he's saying they're not literally saying this to him. This is what he is learning from his subtle body. Oh man, whilst thou gain wisdom, seek for it in the heart of the flame. Wouldst thou gain knowledge of power, seek ye in the heart of the flame. Wouldst be one with the heart of the flame, seek then within thine own hidden flame. And we know from past tablets, as well as things like the yoga practice, a lot of times a representation of the soul or the spirit is fire, is the flame, is that Agni, you know, and it's through
exactly.
In that you can see that literally happening with things like sweat, where the literal body is making realizations. And so this is kind of your ingredients. And so that flame, that burning flame that's within you, many of the times they spoke thee to me, teaching me wisdom not of the world, showing me ever new paths to brightness, teaching me wisdom brought from above, giving knowledge of operation, learning of law, the order of all. Spoke to me again. So again, when we're talking about law here, we're not talking about, because he's saying this is wisdom not of the world. So these aren't like laws that the man has created, like the speed limit.
Well, it's like what the Australian, the original people call LORE, law. It's the law of the land, which is nature's natural living in harmony with nature, basically. But then the Westerners come along, and of course, what do? Create LAW. So it's their law versus the LORE, the law of the natural land, and the way that we are actually supposed to be stewards for nature and the planet. Yeah.
And it's also understanding like subtleties, like that things don't happen to you, they happen for you. That what you are, you will attract. You know, these little subtle things that even in our world today, especially in our world today, we were not raised understanding that what you are, you attract. We were not raised with the understanding of the soul contract. We were not raised with the understanding of transmuting stuff. And so it's that as well. Well, at least when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, no teacher was sitting there saying, you know, what you are, you attract. No, they weren't doing that, right? So it's understanding those subtleties about yourself and how that in the rhythm of nature, again, I'll say it again, when I studied the Navajo people with the skinwalker, they taught very simply the difference between black magic and white magic. Black magic worked against nature for its own selfish desires. White magic works with nature to help people process what's coming for them, right? It's a helping you lean into. That's the white magic. It's not trying to fight the nature. So very interesting.
I think that's the beauty of being in alignment with Source Creator, is that you don't need magic. It's like what the dark forces do is they take the energy and they contort it and twist it and separate it and do whatever they do with it, and steal and whatever. But when you are in alignment with God or Source, you feel it, and there's no magic necessary. And there's nothing. But I do understand as well, in order for us to get to that place, God does give us tools. So I do understand that there are divination tools that a lot of people use. And again, the divination tools can be used for positive or negative, right? I mean, like anything, you can use, I mean, what are these little things that tell you yes or no? Pendulum, yeah. Just to give you a maybe if you're feeling uncertain, but it's also not fault free, you know, not necessarily, because it's all about energy, right? So the point I'm making is that everything, when you're in alignment with your higher self, you know, then you get inspiration and you take inspired action. And that is really acting on your intuition, basically. And then there's no magic needed or no contortions needed. So even for those of you who think that putting a love spell, an innocent love spell for your ex-lover to come back or whatever, that you shouldn't be doing that, because you there literally are the minute you go to contort energies, right? And I'm not talking about prayer or meditation. If there's something or someone that you want or whatever, by all means, pray about it, meditate, get direction, you know, whatever. But the minute you've got to start doing things so that another can come to you, or so that something can happen for you, then you're on the wrong track. Doesn't make it evil or bad. It just means that you maybe have not quite aligned yet with what you need to. And maybe you need to use that as a tool for the moment, but know that you don't need it forever. It's like a child growing out of its tractor it wants to play with or ride in, you know. It's going to ride it for 3 years of its life. It's going to be so happy. And then suddenly one day it's like, nah, I don't want that anymore, you know. So it really is just, it's bite-sized chunks, one step at a time.
And I will say with the love spells, ladies, men have more self-respect than that. More self-respect than that.
Yes,
also,
exactly.
And you look to, a lot of people go to divination when they're desperate, when they're in need of it, when they're in a desperate time and they're seeking answers. And, that's what I find anyway with my friends. They really want to read tarot cards when they're desperate to find an answer for something. But the answer is always within. And so, yeah, you're right. But you can use, like, the pendulum is the least trusted of all the divination tools because it can be manipulated. It should only really be used for stuff that you're not really emotional about. So you can get the honest answer from your energy. Like, do I need more vitamin C? Like, I'm not emotionally attached to having more vitamin C or not. So it's just going to tell you from your higher self. So absolutely. I 100%. He goes on to say, spoke to me again, the seventh, saying, from far behind time we come, O man. Traveled we from beyond the space-time, I, from a place of infinity's end. When ye and all thy brethren were formless. So they came, they were here with us. The cycles of the chakra system were here with us before we even incarnated into our form. We were formless. That's how wise they are and how old they are. Formed forth we from all the order of all. Not as man are we, though once we too were as man. That's interesting, right? So there's such an intense knowledge of these chakras that they're saying, like, once too, we kind of understood. We knew we were in the dark as you were. And now we're here to assist you in the way of light. Out of the great void, we were formed forth in order and by law. For now, ye that which is formed truly is formless, having form only to thine eyes. That's heavy, y'all. Let me say that again. Truly, that you for know ye that which is formed truly is formless, having form only from thine eyes. How many times have people said this is just a hologram? You truly are formless. You truly are a consciousness. You are a soul. The form is something you see through your own eyes as a tool for your soul to know itself. This is reiterated over and over again in the Yoga Sutras, as Patanjali says that man's suffering is because man thinks that who he is who he is when it's not really who he is. Like, man thinks that he is these identities, and these identities are just an avatar for this time. It's just an expression of, but you're really a soul. You really are an eternal soul. That you are the formless soul that is pure light, pure love, full of consciousness. And this experience in this body is just you knowing yourself, remembering that you are that soul. So I'm going to read that again because that's powerful. For know ye that which is formed truly is formless, having form only to thine eyes. It's just an experience. Yeah. You're just living an experience right now. And again, unto me spoke the seven, saying, children of the light, or child of the light, O Thoth, art thou, free to travel the bright path upward, until at last all ones become one. So he says this. So the seven are saying, Thoth, you are a child of the light, and you are traveling upward through Sushumna, through the spine, through that pathway towards the light, where all ones, and he says all ones with an S plural, become the one. Where all these separate things you see as you travel up become one and merge with that one wisdom, as he previously spoke about. And again, unto me spoke. Okay, sorry. Fourth were we formed after our order. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Know ye that these are the numbers of cycles that we descend from unto man, each having here a duty to fulfill, each having here a force to control. Yet are we one with the soul of our cycle. Yet are we too seeking a goal far beyond man's conception. Infinity. Sorry, my dog's barking because somebody probably dared to walk by our house. He is the sheriff, so I apologize. Somebody, how dare they walk past our house? He's got something to say about it. Infinity's ends into a greater than all. Oh, hold on one second. Let me just go shut the door because my boyfriend just walked in. Hold on. That's why he was barking, because my boyfriend just walked in the house. Okay. All right. And obviously he had groceries, so Robbie was very excited. All right. Let me start that again. So infinity expands into a greater than all, there in a time that is yet not a time. We shall all become one with a greater than all. Time and space are moving in circles. Know ye their law, and ye too shall be free. Aye, free shall ye be to move through the cycles, past the guardians that dwell at the door. That is really freaking heavy, but basically just sums up everything we just said. The more you work through this, the more you are liberated from literally, who are you liberated from? Yourself. The guards, who's the guards at the door? It's you. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It's you, boo. It's always been you, boo, you know? And that's powerful when you realize that you hold the key to that liberation.
Yeah, totally.
It's liberating.
Like you're standing in your own way, you know, really it is that you're standing in your own way.
Absolutely.
You know? And really when you just get that, it's like ting ting, take a step out and then you can start seeing things differently. Yeah,
right.
I agree.
It's kind of comical at that point. You're like, well, shit, it's been me this whole time. You know, it's like that. There's a little meme, a video meme people been sharing of this kid in like a lake holding onto a rope, like screaming because it's like me panicking. And then he realizes he can just stand up and he just stands up and it's like, I'm the one creating my panic, right? Like I could just stand up, you know? And that's why he's saying all this form that we see, as he said in the earlier verse, all this form is perceived through your eyes. All these obstacles, these limitations, you perceive it. You are actually formless. This is a perception through your own sense of reality. So if you are the perceiver, if you are the watcher, then only you can change the channel, right? No one can change it for you. Yeah. And that's your privilege. Again, that's your privilege. Then spoke he of the 9, saying, eons and eons have I existed, knowing not life and tasted not death. This is heavy, y'all. Okay, this is going to get heavy, and I love it. I'll finish it, though. So eons and eons have I existed, knowing not life and tasting not death. For know ye, O man, that far in the future life and death shall be one with the all, each so perfected by balancing the other, that neither exist in the oneness of all. In men of this cycle, the life force is rampant, but life in its growth becomes one with the all. Here I manifest this in your cycle, but yet I am there in your future of time. Yet to me, time exists not. For in my world, time exists not. For formless are we. So what is he saying? Why? What is it Alan Watts said? When somebody asked Alan Watts, what's the point of life? Alan Watts said it's simple, to be alive. That's the point of life, is to be alive. So what Thoth is saying, or what he's learning, is that when we go into the formless, when we are just a soul without this hologram that we are living in, because as a soul we don't know death, what does that also mean? We don't know life.
Yeah,
so as
exactly.
a formless soul, we have to have that illusion of death in order to actually understand life. That, when I read this the first time, I was like, that was like, that was just such.
Well, that's the whole part. That really is the whole cycle of reincarnation, because it's only in your physical body that you're going to experience life and death. So yeah. It would be one of the reasons that we come to Earth choosing our physical bodies. And yet, interestingly enough, the human psyche will hold on to life at all cost, right? And that's why I know when someone gets as far as actually taking their own life, there's a kind of I think a barrier, if you will, that people cross over, where it's just not there anymore, that desire to live, or whatever it might be. But generally the human psyche will hold on to life at all costs. So it thinks that this is all there is until it is able to release and let go and then go back into full consciousness. And then it's like an addiction. We keep wanting to reincarnate. It's like an addiction. Our human bodies.
It's like, man, those French fries were really good. I kind of want to go back into a human body so I can enjoy those French fries.
Like, hey, it's like, I'm going to heal that toe in mine. The last time I broke my toe, I didn't know how to heal it. This time, I'm damn well healing my toe. So I'll break my toe again.
We're in our formless spirit, just trying to think of things to give us to give us a reason to come back and be here on this planet, right? Like we're trying to think of things. Well, how can I it's like a little kid who tries to pretend like, at least when I was a kid, we used to put the thermometers on the light to make it look like we had a fever so we didn't have to go to school. But opposite, like we're trying to do things to like make us come back because that's how we know life. And there's so, it's at the end of the second pada of the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali talks about us being able to kind of control our senses and not be slaves to them, which is a beautiful thing in itself. But the senses, which we have 10 senses, not 5, we have 10 of them. It talks about that in yoga. That is an experience that is life, because when you're just a soul, you don't have a nervous system. You don't have likes and dislikes. You don't have, so this experience, even the experience of tasting ice cream, even the experience of falling in love, of having heartbreak, this is all aspects of experiencing life. And because we know death in this avatar, we can then appreciate those moments of joy. And that is, y'all, when I was like, that is so freaking heavy. So when we come into only soul form, we don't know this existence of life because we don't have death. So our souls are pretty cool to be like, you know what? We're going to create an existence and we're going to make French fries and we're going to make sports like skiing and we're going to do, be in these bodies that are temporary. So we get to really squeeze the essence and the quality of that life out to have to simulate an experience that we want to have that we can't have in our soul form. And so that's the beauty there. He goes on to say, life have we, but not yet have existence, fuller and greater and freer than thee. Man is a flame bound to a mountain, but we in our cycle shall ever be free. Know ye, O man, that when you have progressed into cycles that lengthen above, life itself will pass to the darkness, and only the essence of the soul shall remain. So once he's saying our flame is constricted like in a mountain, like in a body, once we understand that flame is the soul, there's a free, and it kind of mirrors Sri Swami Satchidananda's commentary of the Yoga Sutras, where he says, once you understand you're a soul, once you understand this idea, again, like Thoth is saying, that you can only know life because you understand death, then you can really enjoy life. Because it's all temporary, and you can really start to enjoy and slow down and really feel the sand between your toes, really feel your body stretching in down dog, really feel the joy of dancing to music, or really love deeper. I'm not a country music fan at all, but a few years ago, or more than a few years ago, there was this song, a country music song about a guy whose father learns that he's terminally sick. And the chorus was, what did you do? He goes, I went skydiving. I went Rocky Mountain climbing. Makes me emotional. I went 2.something seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. I love deeper. It makes me emotional. I spoke sweeter. So when all of a sudden the whole point of the song, even though I hate country music, the whole point of the song was when his father learned he was terminal, all of a sudden everything in his life changed. He loved deeper. He spoke sweeter. He went skydiving. He climbed the Rocky Mountains. He rode a bull, and that's that understanding of mortality, that these bodies they're only a temporary gift. That's it. Next life, new body, new temporary gift, right? So why not make the most of that experience while you're here and you're able to experience it? And so
your body's not a temple; it's an amusement park.
Yes. I know some of us have a little bit more of a intense amusement park than others, but.
Yes.
Some people, amusement parks are just the lazy river of relaxation, while other people have a haunted house. And
it can go up and down and in and out and all around about, whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
But you designed it that way, and so I just, that's just such a beautiful thing. Like, you will pass into a certain freedom when you're a soul, yes, but there's no experiences beyond that because there's no understanding of that. He goes on to say, then to me spoke the Lord of the Eight, saying, all that ye know is but a part of little. All that ye know is but a part of little. Not as ye have yet touched on the great capital G. Far out in space where light reigns supreme. Came I into the light, formed was I also, but not as you are. Body of light. Well, because I know Mr. Fox had said this. I don't know if he said this on your show, Shanti, or another show, that, in third density, where we are now, we're in the density of choice. We have to make certain choices. But we're also not yet in the density of knowing. This is not the density where we have full knowing. And so let me read that again. He said, all that ye know is but part of little. Like you really, in your human existence in third density, there's only going to be so much that you're actually going to understand because of the limitations of the experience of life, right? Not as ye have touched on the great being the capital G, far out in space where light reigned supreme, came I into the light, formed was I, but also not as ye are. Body of light was my formless form formed. So he was formed as just pure light, right? That's what he's saying, not one of the chakras. And we're in the 9 and 8 chakras, so chakras above the actual existence. That's where he's starting, just to make that clear for people in case anybody asks. Body of light was my formless form formed. Know I not life, and know I not death. So he's saying that's something, even though you as a human being are limited by your understanding of the great infinite I am also, though, he's saying, even though I understand it, I am also limited too, because I don't know death. So therefore I don't know life. I'm just a body of light. That's all I am. So that's interesting. Yet master am I of all that exists. Seek ye and find the path through the barriers. Travel the road that leads to the light. Spoke again to me the 9, saying, seek ye to find the path to beyond. Not impossible it is to grow to a consciousness above. For when 2 have become 1, and 1 has become the all, know ye the barrier has lifted, and ye are made free of the road. Grow thou from form to formless, free may thou be of the road. Thus through ages I listened, learning the way to all. Now lift I my thoughts of the all thing. List ye and hear when it calls. O light, all pervading, one with the all and all with the one. Flow thou to me through the channel. What channel? Sushumna, your spine. Enter thou so that I may be free. Make me one with the all soul, shining from blackness of night. Free let me be of all space time. Free from the veil of the night. I, a child of light, command. Free from the darkness to be. Formless I am to the light soul. Formless, yet shining with light. Know I the bonds of darkness must shatter and fall before light. So Thoth is saying, I want to be in the light, and I know, because I experienced humanness, I know the bonds of darkness. I understand the bonds of darkness, and I'm asking them to be shattered before the light. Now give I this wisdom. Free may ye be, O man, living in light and in brightness. Turn not thy face from the light. Thou soul dwells in the realms of brightness. Ye are a child of the light. Turn thy thoughts inward, not outward. Find thou the light soul within. Know that thou art the master. Know that thou art the master. You are the master. All else is brought from within. Grow thou to realms of brightness. Hold thou thy light thought on the light. Know thou art one with the cosmos, a flame and a child of the light. I'm going to read that again because it's so important. Turn thy thoughts inward, not outward. Find thou the light soul within. Know that thou art the master. All else is brought from within. Grow thou to realms of brightness. Hold thou thy thoughts on the light. Know thou art one with the cosmos, a flame and a child of the light. Now to thee I give a warning. Let not thy thought turn away. Know that the brightness flows through thy body, for I turn not to the dark brightness. So he's saying dark brightness. What is that? The people who are faking the light. All right, that comes from the brothers of black. But keep thine eyes ever lifted, thy soul in tune with the light. Take ye this wisdom and heed it. Listen to my voice and obey. Follow the path of brightness, and thou shalt be one with the way. And that ends the 7th tablet. So that's really important, right? Because he's saying, don't look outward, look inward. The brothers, the dark brightness, as he's calling it, the bling bling, as Ashanti calls it, the bedazzled, the fake light. It's all going to be outside of you. So he's saying, keep your eyes inward so you're not fooled. You're not fooled by this lie that the white hats are coming to save you. You're not fooled by this lie that something outside of you is saving you, because that's the fake darkness. right? That's the black darkness. That's the black brightness, as he's saying. You are your own savior. It's you. So keep yourself inward. Don't be distracted by everything happening outside of you. Bring yourself inward, right? And he's giving you that warning. Again, I'll read that. Now to the idea of warning. Let not thy thought turn away. Know that the brightness flows through thy body. The brightness flows through your body. It's not outside of you. It's inside of you. Turn not to the dark brightness that comes from the brothers of black. But keep thine eyes ever lifted, thine soul in tune with the light. Take heed this wisdom and heed it. Listen to my voice and obey. Follow the path to brightness, and thou shalt be one with the way. Interesting. Yahshua and Magdalene in the missing books of the Bible, what did they call their teachings? The way. They called it the way as well. And there is speculation.
You know what's very good, because what I want to just say to people there as well, to apply that. What does it mean to apply, keep your eyes to the light, look within, etc., etc.? What does that really mean to apply that, right? Because that can be something quite abstract. So the application of that would be really just to move one step at a time in a direction that makes you feel good. This is where you absolutely have to trust your inner guidance. This is where you're so tuned in that no voice on the outside is going to, and make no mistake, there are amazing people in our surroundings and in this world who will say things or give us advice or offer us some wisdom or whatever that will certainly trigger or calibrate something in us to take a step in a certain direction, right? But ultimately, it's you and your intuition. And as long as you're following your intuition or the voice within or the happiness within, you're following God's will.
Yeah.
You're following God's will for you and your will for you, because whatever God's will for you is, that's your will for you as well. Whatever your will for you is God's will for you. You can't go wrong, guys. There is no right or there is no wrong. Everybody is going to find their spiritual path in the way that they're going to do it, right? What I say is, as long as you're not harming anyone in the process, that's cool, right? I will tell you what I think works through my journey as a healer over the past 20 odd years. And obviously my own experience as well. And trust me, I'm probably my most difficult client.
I say same. It's a whole lot. Well, you know, they say, Shanti, I think we're going to give a little trade secret away. What the teacher teaches the most is what the teacher needs to hear. So I'm the same, Shanti.
I always say that. And I always say, you know, what is that? Whatever you're teaching, what is what you need to learn the most?
I tell my students that all the time. Every time I teach a philosophy class, I'm like, I know.
I should be frigging teleporting by now.
I know, right?
And here I am, still sitting.
I had a student ask me in a deep philosophy class, like, how do you know when you've achieved this? I was like, I don't know. I haven't achieved it. That's what I'm still talking about. You let me know, because I don't know. Like, it's taken me, I've been working on this for 17 years, and I still get stuck in these ruts, man. And you're right. We should be, Shanti, we should be teleporting. We should be levitating. We should be living off this our
exactly.
Point.
But I think God knew I'd be a little bit cheeky with my superpowers. So I would definitely be getting up to mischief with them.
Absolutely. I'm gonna zap you. I'm gonna zap you. I'm gonna zap you. I know.
Hey, Yeeps.
Before, there are so many people that have pissed me off that if I were to die, I'm like, I've got a list of people I was gonna go haunt. Like, I think that's why God keeps me alive, because I'm like, I'm gonna go haunt your ass. Like, if I die, I'm gonna go haunt your ass. Like,
oh my goodness. No, I would definitely say, like, just like, hey, see if this works. Quickly, I want to see if this works. Does it work? Does it work? Let's try again. So I know I'm probably being restrained a little bit here. So I still got to behave. I think I misbehaved in a few lifetimes.
Well, oh, same, girl. Well, that's the thing. That's why I tell people too. If you're new to this, like, okay, so Shanti, Morné, and I have done this for years now. We're still sitting here saying like we need to learn. We keep having to relearn these things. So don't ever think that don't feel overwhelmed. You know, it's all part of the friction. Your own stubbornness is part of your own friction, and so yeah. I was actually gonna say, and this is obviously up to you guys. So next week we can go through Doriel's commentary on the Seven Lords, but I feel like this tablet is so important to kind of take another. Can we ask people if you have questions, philosophical questions about this? Then we can like maybe go through some of the questions too through this tablet before we move on to the next tablet and talk some of this
Cool.
stuff.
I think I want to just see. So yeah, put it out there to our viewers. If you guys have any questions or points of discussion that you guys want to chat about on tablet 7. In other words, the 7 chakras. They're not chakras, they're chakras. Please don't call them chakras. They are chakras.
Well, that's because this is because next is, we still have a few more tabs. This is kind of the middle point. So this will give us, so I would even say like, even if there is something from a tablet prior to 7 that you want us to like talk about.
All the tablet.
Yeah, let's go through Doriel's commentary next week and then kind of take a moment to kind of review some stuff people might be a little confused about or curious about.
Yeah, let's do that. So if anyone has any questions, and also again, if you guys haven't watched the previous recordings on this, then please do. It's super interesting. And again, we always remember that there's duality. All this information has been distorted. So those of you who will tell us again for the umpteenth time that we're going to hell because we dare to talk about Thoth or Toth or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Or Toth or Toth or whatever. Doesn't matter. We look at the duality and understand that everything has been distorted, as we well know. So,
and I'll remind
these are amazing teachings.
Yeah, if you want to get the Emerald Tablets, guys, of course, this is the most popular Doriel's commentary because he's kind of an expert on this. But if you can get the Emerald Tablets for free, if you just Google, put in your Google search bar, Emerald Tablet 1 PDF, it'll come up. You won't get the commentary, but you'll get just the tablets. Because unlike other scripture like the Bible, there's no copyright on this. It's free.
But even the one that you're reading now, Bryce, you can get for free.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the one that you're reading out of now is going to get for free as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will say for those of us who say we're going to hell, LOL, there's no copyright on Thoth's Emerald Tablets.
See you there. See you there.
Bible. There's one on the Bible. There's a copyright. So judge not least ye be judged, my friends. So so I just find that comical. So yeah, and it's a beautiful piece of work. And as I think I just had a fairy go by. I don't know if you guys saw that, but a little orb went by behind my back. But maybe Thoth is here with us. I don't know. Oh, now we're really going to hell, aren't we? Don't threaten me with a good time, guys. Don't threaten me with a good time. So
yeah. We're very tempted. We're very tempted to go check it out. Anyway, kidding. Totally. Okay, guys and girls. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Morné. And the rest of you must go and have a beautiful Monday. As you can tell, it's load shedding. And it's dark outside for another hour at least. I have load shedding. So wish you all a beautiful day. Take it easy. We will see you. What's tomorrow? Mr. Fox on tomorrow. So we shall see you tomorrow with Mr. Foxy Fox. And we shall be talking more about organic portals and things like that. Very interesting, talking about the whole organic portal thing. I've come across a couple of shorts, whatever. Dr. Phil. Okay, now you know Dr. Phil.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I know, despite who he is or what he is, doesn't matter. More like I came across. In fact, yesterday I was watching 2 episodes of his. I sat here with my jaw hanging open. That men behave that way, and B, women behave that way, and C, their kids are in the middle of this. To me, that is the most astounding thing I can ever imagine, is when people are threatening to murder the family at dinner, and that's normal.
Not with
Calling
the
your
soul
daughter
family.
a little, calling your daughter a little bitch, telling your wife she's the ugliest whore. So I shouldn't even saying those words on this thing. But anyway, so my point is, it's interesting to observe that we are probably dealing with some organic portals. And I don't want to lay judgment on that, because it's very easy to judge someone as that. But I'm more coming from an intuitive or a healer's perspective, right? To see, how does someone think to call your wife an effing HORE around every corner, and to have an affair with someone and put a picture of this girl on your exercise bike to motivate you, and think that that's going to inspire your wife.
I know. Well,
lose
that's
weight.
the thing. You can talk to. I saw Kango said the tree chakra people. Yes, that's something that Mr. Fox and I have spoken about off camera. The difference between a distressed souled person, SOULED, and an organic portal. The big difference, because sometimes somebody who is souled, who has a soul, and is in distress, will behave in organic portal ways. However, the big difference is someone who has a soul, even if they're in distress, they will always have certain governors. Right? So they won't say those awful things. They might throw a temper tantrum, but they won't say there's going to be governors. And we're seeing more and more and more organic portals, especially in our community, exposing themselves. They just expose them. I mean, Mr. Fox was laughing with me the other day that they're getting really obvious at this point. Like, it's getting so obvious because there's just a governor. People who have a soul have governors on them. You know, so yeah, I can't wait. I love y'all's episode last time. Mr. Fox is just such a wealth of information, and I feel very lucky that I get to talk to him a lot about this stuff just off camera, because he's a wealth of information. So yeah, I can't wait to watch.
He'll actually, because we're going to pre-record, but we're going to put him on at 8:00 tomorrow night. That's 3 hours from now, whatever the time will be. So he will be on tomorrow, but check the schedule. It's in the community section as well. And then you can see what's on. And then, of course, on Wednesday, 2 shows with Jesse, Double Dose Jesse, and then BRICE again in the afternoon with Sophia Code. Okay, guys and gals, God bless you all. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you very soon. Like, share, subscribe. Please get this information out there. And yeah, see you soon.
Bye.